one sole reason for obtaining the LG here is because it has a HDMI input in the back. Very uncommon for CRT TVs to have that. It's one of only two that I know of in Australia that has that connection, the other being a Samsung. The model for the LG is 32 FSD4. It's 32 inches inside, widescreen, and it's flat. Year of manufacture is 2006. Very recent by CRT standards. It's the newest CRT TV I've got in my collection, and probably the newest one that I'll ever have. LG have touted this as one of their super slim models. Here in the top left corner it says super slim. This refers to the actual thickness of the TV. While it is somewhat narrower than other TVs, it's not really anything outstanding. It's not like it's got to the level of plasma or LCD, nowhere near that. Down the bottom there's some more logos too. See that? HDMI, there it is. Speaking of HDMI, we'll go around the back and see what connections there are. There's the ID label on the back for reference. And here we go to the connections. Your standard stuff, couple of ins and an out. Composite, S-Video next to that on the left. And we start getting into the good stuff. 2 component inputs with sound. And over here, there it is. HDMI. Also says DVI. Digital audio in. Digital audio out. And then there's a connector. It looks like a D-sub 9-pin male. It's service only for servicing the television. Nice assortment. There's also another connection on the side of the TV. Might be composite or S-Video. Probably both. I can report one outstanding feature of this television is its compatibility with signals. Everything I throw at it, it displays it, no problems at all. Here's a list I've compiled and I'll read it out. Running component, this is from the pattern generator. These are all the different signals that I've tested and they all work. 576i at 50 Hz, 576p at 50 Hz, 480i at 60 Hz, 480p at 60 Hz, 720p at 50 Hz, 720p at 60 Hz, 1080i at 50 Hz, and 1080i at 60 Hz, and also VGA with sync on green. All of them work. Outstanding. Let's have a look at the Xbox. Let's test it through HDMI with the 360. 360 is ready to go. Display settings are on the screen. 1080i. Let's see. It's already in 1080i. It works. Go to 720p. Bang, it works. 720p at 60 Hz. Now to try out at 50 Hz. Yes, it's working. So it's in 720p as you can see. 480p. Yep. Yep, 50 Hz, 480p, no problems. Outstanding. Go back up to 1080i, it's a lot sharper in that. We could even go further and plug a PC in via HDMI and test some resolutions on that, but I'm satisfied as it is. Again, outstanding performance by the LG with signal compatibility. The picture is pretty good. It's pretty good here with the 360. Sharp, colourful, bright. I like it. However, there is one flaw with this TV. One big flaw. And it's best shown with a convergence pattern. I could point it out now on screen, but it'll be easier with a convergence pattern. So the convergence pattern's up on the screen. You might be thinking that it's going to be a geometry issue that's a problem here, but it's not. Even though there is a bit of a curvature down the bottom left corner there, it's not straight. I'm not worried about that right now. In the center of this screen, those white lines are deadly sharp. They're brilliant. Some of the best I've ever seen on a TV. However, when you go to the edges of the screen, and commonly these things do get a bit blurrier here, or convergence goes out a bit, there's a massive increase in the size of the thickness of the white lines. This is the flaw of the television, that it's quite blurry on the outside of the screen, and it takes up a fairly big portion. It's very sharp, as I said, on the center, but on the left hand side and the right hand side of the screen, those lines are massively thick because it gets out of focus. I measured the lines in the middle of the screen, and they're about 2 millimeters in thickness, whereas the white lines on the edge, camera probably doesn't really pick it up. I measured them with a ruler and they're about 8 millimeters thick. They should be all the same. If you're fussy like me, this is a bit of a deal breaker. If you can get better out there, then you would, and you wouldn't settle for this. I like the TV, but it's just annoying, particularly with text. Text on the edges of the screen is very hard to read because it's blurred. I will open this LG up shortly and have a look inside it. I've never done that before. I want to see the brand of tube, probably LG, and the chassis. I could attempt to adjust the focus with the flyback transformer, but focus adjustments from there usually affect the whole picture and not any portion of it. While I think of it, I'll put the remote up in front too, for reference, and comment on the menu system. I like the menu system in this TV. Everything's quick. Changing of channels is a bit slow. It does take its time to do that, but scrolling through the menus is very quick. One feature here I like, it's got the gauze option, very handy. There we go. Put it into a new position. You might need to do that. Let's have a look inside this one. I nearly forgot. I'm going to throw a curveball at the LG. Seeing that it's so good at displaying various signals, I'll give it a true test here. I've got the Wii on and I'm running Strider for the Genesis. This is one of the virtual console games, and I've got the Wii set into 240p mode, and that's running over component. So 240p over component into the TV. Let's see what happens when we run that. I can tell you, and I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but the frame rate drops, so it gets jerky, and that might last for 3 or 4 seconds, and then for some reason this movement gets really smooth for 3 or 4 seconds. Very odd. I've got the Wii set on 4:3 at the moment, aspect ratio, as well as the TV. It doesn't matter if you go 16:9 with both of them, it's still the same problem. When the game switched into 240p mode, it goes from jerky and then to smooth. Jerky, then to smooth. If I go back into 480i, it's all fine. This is a problem for a lot of displays out there. No big deal though. I don't have a lot of need to run 240p on HD stuff. Okay, the back's off, and I know what they mean by super slim. This is the thinnest tube I've ever seen for the given size of it. Most tubes tend to curve out here a bit more to the yoke, but this one's almost completely flat on the back, and I wonder if that has something to do with the poor focus quality around the edges of the tube. I've got a few theories on this blurriness of the tube. One, the TV may have just developed a fault. Two, it could be actually the way it comes out of the factory, and LG hasn't engineered a good tube. Hard to say. I wouldn't accept this. I wouldn't, if I was in the factory, if I was the designer of this, I would take it back to the drawing board. I reckon the thinness of the tube is what's compromising the edge focus clarity. Not forgetting, the tube is LG Philips. I've seen a few of those around, and it's made in Korea. On that blurriness again, I would like to get another one of these TVs and just see how it performs. That way I might be able to eliminate whether this one is faulty or not, or it may be the case that this is how the TV is out of the factory. Blurry like that. A couple other notes about this one. It's got a HD tuner built into it for digital television. I did hear complaints about that back in the day, about some issues with that. So you might still need a set-top box, but it's interesting that they try to include the HD tuner. I paid $100 for this one. I saw one go on eBay a week or two ago for $50, so it does have a little bit of value to it. I think that's only because it's got the HDMI connection in the back, but it doesn't really gain you that much. It still looks pretty good through component. I don't know if there's really any difference between HDMI at 1080i and component at 1080i. And again, it's overshadowed by the blurriness around the edge, but has excellent signal compatibility and otherwise a good picture, so it may suit you, but the blurriness may be a deal breaker for you. Thanks for watching.